What's your emergency?
Help, we're being attacked by the police state.
It's a different world out there, folks. We've got DHS checkpoints, we have militarized police locking down cities and telling people to shelter in place. We have mass surveillance, police brutality on a scale never seen before. We have free speech zones, as opposed to zones where we don't have free speech anymore. And now, if you want to protest, well, be prepared to be labeled a terrorist by your elected official.
These people who hold themselves out to be patriots are not. They're nothing more than domestic terrorists.
You're now wide open, folks, immobilized, where the global spiders can take their time sucking your soul.
It's official, my friends. Ferguson is under occupation by the police state. Your rights are now non-existent. Police in Ferguson, Missouri murdered an unarmed teenager. There was no judge, no jury, just a public execution. This teenager did not deserve the capital punishment he received, but that is the Patriot Act police state that we live in these days. And if you're not happy about it, too bad. They'll just send in the militarized police to terrorize the public into submission. Have no doubt that the state is now the domestic terrorist and that we are its victims living under an occupation. If we were Iraqis, the UN would be sending us weapons. But as it were, we are slaves to their system, and not even the press is free to report anymore. While police in Ferguson, Missouri were largely AWOL during the looting that struck the town on Sunday, they were out in force once again last night to strangle the First Amendment by pointing sniper rifles at protesters and arresting journalists. Your right to assemble is not being denied, police were telling protesters just before the sudden crackdown. A Washington Post reporter and another journalist were arrested earlier Wednesday by officers who ordered everyone out of a McDonald's restaurant, an arrest the newspaper's executive editor called illegal and unjustified. Wesley Lowery said he was slammed into a soda machine and arrested after recording officers doing their job. Also arrested was Huffington Post reporter Ryan Riley. That behavior was unwarranted, an assault on the freedom of the press to cover the news, Washington Post executive editor Martin Barron said in a statement. After being placed in a holding cell, he was released with no charges and no explanation. He was denied information about the names and badge numbers of those who arrested him. Like the Gestapo. We are relieved that Wesley is going to be okay. We are appalled by the conduct of police officers, quote unquote. Ferguson, a St. Louis suburb of 21,000 people, has been racked by protests since Michael Brown was shot and killed by an unnamed police officer Saturday afternoon. On Wednesday, police ordered crowds to disperse, threaten arrest, and deployed tear gas canisters at 9 p.m. local time. No press, no freedom, no assembly, no religion. Welcome to our country. Welcome to statism. At least in North Korea, they get their fascism without the dose of hypocrisy. What's happening to our country, folks? Are we really going to let a bunch of greedy fools take it over and turn it into an evil empire? Today and every day, we are like the people in Ferguson because we are all like Michael Brown. We are all potential victims of this police state gone wild. We are the final check and balance to this system. And as Benjamin Franklin once said, resistance to tyranny is obedience to God.